Hello there, good morning. Welcome to Newsroom right here on GHOne Television. We are live from our studios here at the Platinum Place, North Ridge, Accra. Also live on DSTV channel 361, GoTV channel 123, and also live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X. Coming up this morning. NPP's running mate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, incurs further wrath over his defense of the now famous Akufo-Addo Nkrumah comparison. Also, Ghana Integrity Initiative calls for effective implementation of Whistleblowers Act in commemoration of Africa Anti-Corruption Day. We are also live to the court complex where an Accra High Court is expected to rule on whether Nana Apia Mensah, popularly known as Nam1, should mount defense to some 39 counts. In business, key stakeholders in the agricultural sector describe Ghana Statistical Service report on the performance of the agricultural sector in the 2023 multidimensional report as unsurprising and reflective of the country's neglect of agriculture. Thank you so much for staying on with us this morning. My name is Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Details now. And the running mate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, is incurring the ire of Ghanaians only 2 days after he was revealed to the public. The latest round of criticism stems from Dr. Opoku Prempeh's defense of his assertion that no Ghanaian president has been as successful as President Akufo-Addo. Now, he had earlier suffered backlash and widespread disapproval of his praise of President Akufo-Addo via comparison of this government's achievement to that of Ghana's first president, Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. But during a courtesy visit to Tetrete Okwamwa Sechim II, Omanhene of Wasa Memfi traditional area in Wasa Kropong in the Western North region, Napo stood by the statement he made. Well, chairman of the John Evans Tamils Memorial Heritage, Alex Segbefia, is describing the comparison between Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and Nana Akufo-Addo as unfortunate. Now, his statement comes after the vice presidential candidate of the NPP, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, took a swipe at the first president of the country. Now, speaking at a press launch of the 12th anniversary of the demise of John Evans Fifi at Tamils, Alex Segbefia maintained Kwame Nkrumah stands tall in the league of Ghanaian presidents, both locally and internationally, and cannot be compared to any other president.
You always judge people when they are out of an office that they cannot return to, or when they are dead. This is the way you judge people in positions, in my humble opinion. So if somebody wants to do a comparison, say, between Kwame Nkrumah, Champong, Liman, Atta Mills, and Rawlings, you can understand where they are coming from because their legacies are finite. You cannot add Nana Akufo-Addo to it because he's still president as we speak. You cannot add John Mahama to it because he still intends to become a president and will become a president. And so when you ask that question, it leaves a lot of stuff. Then you have to look at how long people stayed. Kwame Nkrumah stayed for quite a while. Then you had, first and foremost, Ankara. Then you had Okutechie. Then you had Buzia. Then you had Achampong. Then you had Akufu. Then you had Rawlings. Then you had Liman, then you had Rawlings, then you had Akufo, and it goes down. So on what basis are you making this comparison? To say one is better than the other is an unfortunate statement. What you should be saying is, you're comfortable with what somebody has done, or you're uncomfortable with what somebody did. To go down to that type of a comparison, then you must have the full debate. And so I'm not going to say A is better than B. What I do know is that Kwame Nkrumah stands tall, not because of what we Ghanaians say, but what the rest of the world says about Kwame Nkrumah. He's been called the leader of the millennium for Africa. So before you challenge him, make sure you are standing on a stone. And that is where I leave that to rest.
Well, what's quite interesting here is that Dr. Opoku Prempeh seems not to have just quoted the arguments from only outside his party. Well, even in his party, Deputy Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Amidu Issahaku-Chinia, describes NAPO's comments as mere guff and uncalled for. The Sisala East MP believes the first president's legacy will remain unmatched. He spoke on GH Today on GHOne television.
Akufo-Addo has done well. We can compare his records to other presidents, but I don't think there is the need for our running mate to compare him to Dr. Bawumia, especially that Dr. Bawumia, I said Dr. Bawumia, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, especially that Dr. Nkrumah is not, part of, it's not going to be a matter of subject of discussion, the election. The NDC is presenting a former president, a former vice president. He has a record. So that is where the comparison should be, because Bawumia is this current vice president. We have our record. The NDC is bringing a former president. So the comparison should be narrowed down to MPP NDC, because they are the competing parties. So for me, it was an overboard for him to bring Nkrumah into the equation. It was not necessary, because,
Thank you so much for staying on with us right here on GHOne television. Let me take you to the courts now, because a ruling on the submission of no case as to whether Chief Executive Officer of Mensah, Nanapia Mensah, aka Namwan, has a case to answer or not is currently underway. Now, the presiding judge, Justice Ernest Owusu-Dapaah's ruling will decide whether prosecution through 9 witnesses have raised questions for Namwan to answer by way of his opening defense to the answer to some 39 counts. Let's go on Zoom now and speak to our correspondent, Mutala Inusa. He is in court, and he's joining us on Zoom to let us know exactly how things are panning out in court. Mutala, so as it stands now, we know Namwan has arrived. What more can you tell us?
Well, Joshua, Justice Ernest Owusu-Dapaah, a justice of the Court of Appeal, who's sitting on this case as an additional High Court judge, has set the tone for the ruling on this submission of no case. And in fact, Joshua, it's going to be a very, very long day, because the ruling is about 110 pages. Yes, you heard that right. 110 pages. Wow. And what the court said was that, look, according to assess on a probability of things, one party has come to court. And once the person has come to court, everybody would think that that person is victorious, or that person has a case until when evidence are due. And so prosecution, who alleged the crime, has closed its case, and now the court will have to make a determination as to whether or not there are cases by way of the witnesses who came and testified for the prosecution have made any case for Namwan to answer. So as we speak, the court has started the ruling. It's giving us background when the case was initially filed. The prosecution has to come in, file a substituted charge sheet, replace the other one, and the latest one preferred some 39 counts, I must say. So the court is taking them individually, juxtaposing it with the testimony of the witnesses who have come. But what is clear now is that Namwan, Nanapia Mensah, aka Namwan, is present in court, and he's as well representing 2 of his companies, Mensah Ghana Limited and Brew Marketing Consort. The courtroom is heavily packed with customers, aggrieved customers of Mensah victims who are also monitoring the event. But what is clear now is that the ruling is underway before Justice Ernest Owusu-Dapaah, and it's 110 pages. And of course, the judge is saying that everybody should look for water, because he is going to read virtually every single thing on that 110-page ruling that he's delivering today.
Murtala, 110 pages. I know Namwan is in court. When he heard that, what basically was his demeanor?
Of course. So the hope for Namwan will be that the court will find as a fact that no case has been made or no questions have arisen for him to open his defense to the charges so that he will be let go, he will be set free to go. But the customers, on the other hand, will also be hoping that, yes, a 110-page ruling would set the tone for the court to say that, yes, there are questions for Namwan to answer, and so he should mount the witness box and open his defense. He's looking very keen on it. In fact, his lead lawyer, Kwame Akufo, is not here. Audrey Chung is the one holding his brief. And the prosecution led by the Director of Public Prosecution, Mrs. Yvonne Atakwa-Obisa, is also leading team of prosecutors. And everybody else who is interested in this very case has also come to the court. And I must say that the courtroom is very, very packed. Namwan is sitting quietly in the docket, watching on as Justice Ernest Owusu-Dampah read his ruling. In fact, 111 pages.
Murtala, thank you so much for bringing us updates from the court there. So it's quite clear, 110 pages of that ruling in the case of Nana Appiah Mensah, Men's Gold and Brew Marketing Consult. Those two companies, we are told, headed by Nana Appiah Mensah, for which reason the court is delivering a ruling as to whether or not he can open his defense to some 39 counts against him by the Attorney General. But let's move away from that and go to another arm of government, the legislative arm, where the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kingsford-Bagbin, has directed the Clerk to Parliament to present a copy of the report of the Special Ad Hoc Committee set up to investigate the leaked tape of a plot by senior police officers to remove George Akufo-Addo as IGP to the President for action he deems necessary. Now, it follows the adoption of the committee's report by Parliament. The committee's report, which was not signed by its chairman, Samuel Atachian, revealed that the three senior police officers, COP Alex George Mensah, Superintendent George Lysander Asari, and Superintendent Emmanuel Eric Jedi, misconducted themselves a major offense under police regulations and must be sanctioned in accordance with the police disciplinary procedure. Now, the report was stood down last week for further consultation after the chairman raised serious reservations with the content, arguing a key witness was ignored. Now, during the debate after the report returned to the plenary following an engagement between the Speaker and the members of the committee, the Buakwa South MP Samuel Atachian urged the House to reject the report, arguing its conclusion was illogical.
What they were discussing is so illogical, and it's not even realistic for somebody to surmise that a particular IGP can determine an outcome of an election. And therefore, what is the matter? What is the sense in punishing people for their absurd positions and their illogicalities? That's my concern. That's why I'm saying that the whole issue of conspiracy falls flat. They were conspiring about nothing. You do not just listen to people who come before a committee and now will bring you to a conclusion of the matter. You delve into the matters. A committee of parliament is not a conveyor belt. They are supposed to delve into this matter. And on that showing, this report is so anemic. It lacks substance for plenary to found, with the greatest respect, any decision on it and to uphold this report. Yes, and I urge this House to reject this report because there is no foundation of evidence for this report, and we shouldn't make resolutions based on such an anemic report.
Well, Vice Chairman of the committee, James Agalga, however, rejected the claims of the chairman, arguing the findings are properly grounded.
Mr. Speaker, quite a number of issues have been raised which constitutes a gross misrepresentation of the facts and of the report. And therefore, I want to point out the aspects of his contribution which seeks to distort the report so that the appropriate directives can be given. because most of the things he has said are not borne out of the report. Let me start with conspiracy, with respect. Mr. Speaker, in the course of the committee's deliberations, the chairman had the opportunity to raise the arguments that he has canvassed before this House this evening, that we could not elevate conspiracy to the level of our criminal jurisprudence under Section 23 of the Criminal and Other Offences Act. And we all agreed, as a result of that intervention, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the report, we did not use the definition of conspiracy under Section 23 of the Criminal and Other Offences Act.
Well, Speaker Alban Bagman consequently issued the directive for the report to be sent to the President for action, as recommended by the 7-member committee.
Of the debate. You have concluded the debate. I now put the question. Those in favor of the adoption of the report of the Special Committee of Inquiry, say aye. Aye. Those against, say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The report is accordingly adopted. I can only direct that the clerk to Parliament should make available a copy of this report, which has just been adopted by the House, to His Excellency the President as Chairman of the Police Council for any further action deemed necessary.
Well, let's talk some corruption issues, because the Ghana Integrity Initiative is echoing the need for the government to establish and resource the Whistleblower Reward Fund as provided for in the Whistleblower Amendment Act 2023, Act 1103. Now, this is in line with the commemoration of the 8th anniversary of the Africa Anti-Corruption Day on the theme, Effective Whistleblowers Protection Mechanism, a critical tool in the fight against corruption. Parliament last year passed the Whistleblower Amendment Bill 2023, which seeks to specify the mode of rewards for whistleblowers. It was aimed at amending the Whistleblower Act 2006, Act 720, to expand the sources of fund for the fund, to provide a ceiling for the fund, and to specify the mode of rewards for whistleblowers. But very little has been achieved in this regard, with Ghana Integrity Initiative raising concerns. Now, in a press statement which is currently on your screens, the GI is calling for, among others, an increased public education regime on the law to encourage victims and witnesses of corruption to report the act. So excerpts of the statement rolling on your screens now. Let me do some excerpts of that, and then we can do some other stories. And it says, following over 2 decades of implementing the Whistleblowers Act, the Parliament of Ghana amended the act in 2023 to widen the funding streams to enable the establishment of the Whistleblower Reward Fund as provided for by the Act. Now, Section 72.3 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act, Act 2017, Act 959, acknowledges the witness protection provided for in the Whistleblowers Act, in addition to the protection provided for, and it mentions some sections of the Act. Now, furthermore, in 2018, the Parliament of Ghana passed the Witness Protection Act 2018, Act 975, which establishes a witness protection program for endangered persons. Now, however, despite all the legislation passed on whistleblowers protection, the 2019 Global Corruption Barometer Survey reports fear of retribution among the citizens, hence low corruption reporting in the country. And that's why GII is saying that on the occasion of the 8th African Union Anti-Corruption Day, they are calling on government to establish and resource the Whistleblower Reward Fund as provided for, and also increase public education on the law to encourage victims and witnesses of corruption to report. And it's also saying that public entities such as the NCC and STRAJ, as well as CSOs, must also increase public awareness among the populace. Now, vulnerability in the cyberspace is one threat Ghana is liable to as the country rapidly conforms to digitalization. However, Ghana joins the upper ranks of the world's technology age by introducing a cutting-edge information technology laboratory at the Wisconsin International University College, Accra. Now, the facility, equipped with cybersecurity, digital forensics, STEM, and artificial intelligence labs, is set to revolutionize information technology by training the next generation of technology experts with tools that match international standards. There's more in the following report.
The 2023 Ghana FinTech Report reveals that cyber fraud, including credit card fraud, identity fraud, and romance fraud, stands as the country's most prevalent form of cybercrime, with extra attention to the financial sector as a target. The menace, costing the country as much as 4.3 million cedis in 2022 alone, represented a 65% increase from the previous year. Worse, a 4.9 million cedi loss was recorded in the first 9 months of the year 2023. To meet global standards in fighting cybercrime, the Wisconsin International University College has set up a novel IT laboratory, the second of its kind in Africa. The facility is equipped with both training and commercial-grade digital forensic lab, an artificial intelligence or AI lab, and an ICT lab. President of the university, Professor Obeng highlighted the essence of setting up such a facility.
As digital technologies become more sophisticated, so too do the modus operandi of smart cyber criminals. Critical information infrastructure systems, such as health information systems, identification information management systems, and utilities, are increasingly at risk. For this reason, ensuring a safe cyberspace requires a collective effort of all stakeholders. In response to this growing need, Wisconsin International University College has made a substantial investment in our cybersecurity and digital forensics laboratory.
Speaking at the launch of the facility, guest of honor, Education Minister Dr. Yao Osei-Duchum, revealed the establishment of the laboratory supplements the government's initiative to channel science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics-inclined pre-tertiary education.
So when you hear on the news that we are looking at a new secondary education bill, that will ensure that we upgrade our junior high school so that quality teaching and learning will take place. That will ensure that we have quality 6-year secondary education. It's to ensure that Ghana can be part of this era. The first industrial revolution, we're not part of it. The steam engine, Africa was not part of it. Then we have the second, electricity. We used it in building some industry that collapsed. The third industrial revolution, the advent of computers, gave us a rare opportunity. We were never at the forefront of that revolution. But now we have a rare opportunity where we are combining the electrical, the physical, and biological to do great things that can change the world. An opportunity for our youth to lead the way and lead the world. And that is why I applaud Wisconsin University for the work that they have done. If you look at what we are doing at the high school level, junior high school level, sometimes I say to myself, how are they going to fit in the universities? And today I'm encouraged that our universities are waking up.
A tour of the ultra-modern laboratories had on exhibition a 3D printer, smart robotic tools, digital forensics facilities with capabilities for drone forensics, Internet of Things, email forensics, and mobile phone forensics.
Well, let's look at some politics, and it's getting heated ahead of the December 7 general elections because the flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, is challenging his main opponent of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, to a debate to prove to Ghanaians who is more deserving to be Ghana's next president. Listen.
I am looking forward to a debate with John Mahama on the economy, on the country, on the governance. But I'm afraid that he's running away from a debate. He doesn't want to debate because he knows I'll expose the emptiness of his policies. He says he has a 24-hour economy that he cannot explain. It's as empty as an empty barrel. When we meet mano a mano, we can debate and the country will see where our policies lie. And that is where we should go. We should give the country an opportunity to listen to us.
Well, that's Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Well, what we do know is that the camp of the NDC is also reacting to this. Malik Basintale is Deputy National Communications Officer of the NDC. And he says, well, the NDC has been calling for this since 2020. Listen to him.
2020, President Mahama called for a debate. His party, together with his boss, Akufo-Addo, they wrote a letter telling us they will not engage in a debate. You remember, Sewa? We are fully ready for any debate. Okay. We have been calling for it. We called for it in 2020. He, with his boss, they ran away. If they want it now, we are ready. But I should first meet you media people. You need to ask him questions before he comes to us.
So the die is cast. What will happen? We'll get to know shortly. But you have been also reacting to this. Nanama and not Bimpong. Mrs. Akwa has joined me. Nana, what are people saying on social media?
Well, Joshua, even on Facebook, there were over 200 messages. I can't read all, but let's begin with Twitter and let's formerly Twitter, X, and let's go on from there. Kodjo says, from now to the December 7, I don't think anything can influence my decision honestly because I've seen enough and my mind is made up already. Then we have Tino. Bawumia should meet the press and answer those questions he gave to ex-Vice President Amisa Afam. Then Isaac Harun says, Bawumia is irrelevant in our politics. Without him attaching himself to John Mahama, no wonder he always mentioned Mahama's name more than his own self and government. We also have here, yes, they share their ideas as if we don't already know. And if they don't deceive us enough, we vote against both. Then we have here, Ibrahim, if we are a serious people in this country, none of these persons should be president. His opinion there. Richard also adds, Bawumia knows he won't win, so he wants to convince Ghanaians he's an economic guru. But he is saying, we all know he's an economic Maguire. Then Hagan says, debate doesn't solve our ailing economy. There are people who can talk, but do little to nothing. Then here, it is because that's where they will be able to digest the issues well. So maybe if there is a debate, then we'll be able to hear more of what the parties are saying. Emmanuel says, frankly, it would be a waste of resources. It won't add anything to our economy, and personally, it won't inform my decision. Maxwell says the new force candidate should be included. We are tired of these two, the duopoly of NDC and NPP. Theophilus says there's no need. Let Dr. Bawumia meet the press and let's see his smoothness level. Well, that's what you had to say. Well, if the debate comes on, will it be like Trump versus Biden, or will it be something else? My name is Nanama Akwa. Joshua, back to you.
Quite interesting dynamics there, and your thoughts as well. Thank you so much for sending them in. Keep getting interactive with us on social media. And if you're wondering how to do so, here's how. Well, let me now take you to the central region and bring you a rather sad story where a toddler has been burnt to ashes at Kaswakumbe near Opekuma in the Wutusenya East Municipality after the unidentified mother dumped him behind a school building. Now, some residents who spoke to GHOne News' Yabwejan said one of the neighbors saw a black wrapped polythene bag dumped behind a school building in the community, which they misconstrued as containing mere rubbish. Now, after depositing the refuse at a dumping site, a lady set the pile ablaze. Now, according to an eyewitness, Al-Hassan Abdul-Razak, parts of the baby's body were discovered later on. He explained the state of the toddler, whether dead or alive, prior to the burning, cannot be established as of yet. Now, the case has been reported to the police pending investigation, but we can now take a listen to some eyewitnesses.
So be travel no the ball I see be featuring no etimi and no my etimi into on so I assume say the same thing now be at the ball I see in featuring. Inti on so afa ball and ekwa question one be an just then the eshemu. Inti adie no ehye no na our best sa another ball out the koguso. Inti before I na rubber na ahye da expose a colony dead body no.
As a human being, this child can be a future leader. He can be a president. He can be an MP, he can be a assemblyman. He can be one of the engineers in Ghana who can control the whole world. But this is how it happened. I felt so bad. And I have a child, like 1.5 months. So seeing this baby, a lot of things are running into my mind. So we try to, but at the moment, nobody is trying to tell us, oh, I know somebody who was pregnant and the person is giving birth, but we can't find the baby. You know, everybody is trying to do.
Well, quite an unfortunate one there, but we do know that the police is on the matter. And as and when we do get some updates from them, we'll bring them to you. But let's shift gears and bring you business. And in business this afternoon, the minority in Parliament has accused the Attorney General, Akufo-Addo, of an attempt to deceive the public about the outcome of the ENI Vitol unitization arbitration. The AG, in a statement on the judgment of the International Court of Arbitration, claimed victory, arguing the country has been saved from paying $7 billion demanded by the plaintiff. Now, the claim of Akufo-Addo has, however, been countered by ENI. Addressing the media in Parliament, ranking member for the Committee on Mines and Energy, John Jinapo, urged the government to immediately engage the parties since Ghana lost the case per the judgment. He blamed the inactivity on the oil development front on decisions like the one government took against ENI, which are driving multinationals away from the sector.
Based on this judgment, the earlier directive by the Minister of Energy, Mr. Peter Mewu, stands null and void. The tribunal ruled in favor of ENI and directed that Ghana should reverse that directive. Ladies and gentlemen, we call this press conference because it is becoming one too many. Government took a similar decision in the GPGC case and we lost hundreds of millions of dollars. Government took a similar decision in the Sahara case, we lost millions of dollars. Today, we are losing again through a decision taken by the Akufo-Addo government. Already, oil production has reduced from 71 million barrels annually to 48 million barrels. It means that in the course of 6 years, Ghana's oil has declined by 32%, and it continues to go on the decline. A lot of the major oil companies are exiting Ghana. ExxonMobil has exited Ghana. AGM has exited Ghana. Anadako has exited Ghana. ENI is in court with Ghana. And so Ghana is seen as a hostile investment destination. Government is not an appellant body. Government is not a Supreme Court. Government is not an appeal court. They've ruled against government. Government should accept that it erred and rather engage ENI Vitol so that they can find a harmonious, amicable solution. This attempt to whitewash the situation and misrepresent it is false. ENI did not claim any damage of $7 billion. If you read the entire document, there's no $7 billion claim. And the judgment even says that ENI can, if they want, pursue the avenue of seeking for cost damages. So that is untrue and that is completely false.
Well, still in business this afternoon, Chief Director of the Ministry of Transport, Mabel Isisego, has said that the contract with Ashanti Port Services Limited, the concessionaire selected to develop the Accra Integrated Logistics Terminal, was terminated by mutual agreement.
Following an inspection of a housing project in Adengtan, the Minister for Works and Housing, Kodjo upon Nkrumah, stressed that the government will ensure that resources invested in the project are not wasted.
We've made the point over and over again that we should not allow the little resources that we have that have gone into projects to be wasted. We need to finish them and put them to use. Just to make a low point that the contractors or the private entities that we are bringing into these projects, we are not selling the projects to them. I noticed, for example, that after Monday, there were those who were of the view that we are selling these projects to private contractors. We're not selling to private contractors. We're inviting private sector in to work with us to complete. So here there are private subcontractors who are working with state housing to finish it, and then they will sell it to the public.
In a move to address the existing housing deficit in the country, the State Housing Company Limited is constructing close to 500 housing units within the Adengtan municipality and Amahia, with over 250 completed. The sector minister advised the building firm to work on providing mortgage facilities to enable the average Ghanaian worker afford these houses.
Currently, we've concluded engagement with the Association of Bankers, and we are moving forward to engage the Central Bank, the Chief Justice, and the Ministry of Finance on what they can do to make it easier for the banks to underwrite more mortgages. The pension funds as well have expressed, their interest, so that the combination of those interventions on the demand side also now help the banks to get funding, long-term cheaper funding, to give more mortgages to people. That's where a young 25-year-old person coming out of school can get an affordable house, 2-3 bedroom at a good price, and then can get a mortgage of over 15-20 years and be able to purchase that property.
On his part, Managing Director of the State Housing Company Limited, Kwabna Ampofo-Appiah, outlined what the buildings consist of and the timelines for completion.
About 70 units, that's made up of 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedroom. It includes shops. It actually includes a swimming pool and basketball court as well. This is right in the heart of Adengtan. It is now available for sale to the general public for those who are interested. So this is where we are. You already saw that when we went in, we basically had to strip the building down and start basically from scratch.
These housing projects are expected to significantly improve the living conditions of Ghanaians and also reduce the housing deficits in the country.
Well, that ends business right here on Newsroom on GHOne Television. We'll bring you the sports right after this. And the lady in red is here to bring you the latest in the world of sports. Monica Bukari is here with me. Monica, what's happening in sports today?
Joshua, now it's 17 days to the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, and Team Ghana have arrived in Paris, France to fine-tune preparations in camp ahead of the Games. Also, England seems to be coming home with a trophy as they made it to the finals of the Euro 2024, as well as the Copa America Lionel Messi's team Argentina. I'll bring you details on this after this breather. Let's begin with the Euros, where England manager Gareth Southgate has heaped praises on his England players for making it to so good decisions on the field against the Netherlands, which saw them qualify to the finals of the Euro 2024. Let's head to France, where first batch of Ghana's Olympics team have arrived in France for the pre-game campaign ahead of the Olympic Games, which starts on July 26. The team includes Aman Nahomi, Amna Amoko team nurse, Eni Mopari, NS team manager, Saki Ishmael, who is the physiotherapist, and Graham Benjamin, who is the media attaché, and athlete Rosie Yeboah, who is in high jumper, and Hussein Ibrahim, member of the 4x100 Ghana relay team quartet, and Harry Stacey, who is a swimmer. The team will later be joined by sprinter Benjamin Azamati, Joseph Paul Amwa, and Isaac Botio. Team Ghana is expected to come for 2 weeks to fine-tune preparations ahead of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Now let's go back to the Euros, where England captain Harry Kane says the team have shown unbelievable character to reach the final of the Euro 2024 after a 2-1 win over Netherlands in Dortmund. England faced Spain in Sunday's Euro 2024 final, and the Three Lions are hoping to go one step further than Euro 2020 when they lost the final on penalties to Italy. So we've got more sports for you here on GH1 TV and Star FM at 1 p.m. Myself and Benjamin Yamwa will be here. That's it for sports for now. My name is Monica Bukari. Back to you, Joshua.
Many thanks, Monica Bukari, for serving us sports. Let's bring you international news now. And that's how I wrap up the bulletin right here on GH1 television. There's more news for you at starfm.com.gh. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Many thanks to you for doing the watching. Production was led by Eko Boache. Do have a lovely afternoon.